I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I look around and since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can't see clearly when you're gone. And I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep right until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I'm running out of time, 'cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive, baby. Hit the road in overdrive. The city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can't see clearly when you're gone. And I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. Now I'm coming back to let you know I can never say it on the phone. But whenever let me go, this time I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. Till I feel your touch. Feel free to be whoever you wanna be. Feel free to dance, feel free to sing, just feel free. Feels like the world is picking on ya. Feels like it's picking on me. But trying to please everybody. It is appropriate. It is appropriate that I am wearing black today. It is appropriate that I'm wearing black because this is, in a way, I'll save the funeral for the 2023 Titans until the last game's over, but consider this a little preview of the funeral of the 2023 Tennessee Titans after just a heartbreaker. And yes, I do want to start the episode with some breaking news. The Tennessee Titans literally, I saw it just before I hit record, right before I hit go today. The Titans have fired their special teams coach, Ackerman. Fired him. Only took 2 blocked punts in a row for that to happen.
He may as well have just packed his bags as soon as that second punt was blocked. I mean, he may as well. And you know what? This is something that I didn't see coming because Vrabel has said many times in the past he does not believe in firing coaches until the season is over. So the fact that he fired the special teams coach in the middle of the season tells me one of two things. Well, it actually tells me two things. Number one, he knows the season's over, as we all do. And number two, maybe, hopefully, this is a sign that Vrabel is willing to change his ways a little bit. Because something's got to change, huh? And you know what? It's my fault, guys. It's my fault. Because like an idiot, like an insane person, because Albert Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So like an insane person, do you want to know what I did for the last week after the Titans beat Carolina last week, coming into this game? You know what I did? I went and looked and I said, okay, who's ahead of us in the wild card race in the AFC playoffs? That's what I did. You can laugh if you want. I went and I looked and I said, okay, Steelers, Browns, Colts, Texans, Broncos. I went and I looked at everybody's schedules. I said, okay, if we get hot and we start winning, what does this team need to do for us to get in? What does this team need to do? What does that team need to do? That's what I spent the last week doing. Spent the last week getting my hopes up that a miracle was going to happen. And that's on me, guys. That's on me. That's my fault. I should have known better. I should have just let it die. I should have just let it die. Because maybe then I wouldn't have been so let down yesterday by this team. Maybe if I would have just gone in till yesterday knowing, man, it's over. It's done. Forget it. Maybe if I had just gone in there yesterday knowing that, then yesterday wouldn't have been such a gut punch. But lo and behold, I went in there and I've got Red Zone channel on the other TV. I'm like, hey man, Steelers look like they're going to lose. All right. Broncos looking like they're going to lose. Okay. The Bills ain't playing this week. Hey man, we can really get in this thing if we beat the Colts. Just consider it just one more time this season that these guys, these Tennessee Titans, got my hopes up only to punch me in the gut over and over and over again. What's the old saying? When I die, I want the Tennessee Titans to lower my casket into the ground so that they can let me down just one more time. Let's just recap the game yesterday. Okay? Titans started off pretty good. Jumped out to a 17-3 lead. 17-7. 17-7. Okay? Derrick Henry looking good. Derrick Henry actually looked great. Levis hitting on some things. Good drives being put together. 17-7. And then it's let me just give you an example here. Let me just give you an example here of how some teams know how to win and some teams know how to lose. Some teams find ways to win, some teams find ways to lose. The Titans are one of those teams who find ways to lose. Let me give you an example. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Titans are up 17-10. Colts have this drive. They get all the way down to the 5. And Danico Autry, who's really playing at a high level. Danico Autry gets a strip sack, turnover, Titans get the ball back, less than a minute to go in the half. Okay, great. We stopped it from scoring, didn't allow them to score any points. Let's get this thing to the locker room, 17-10. How do we follow it up? Will Levis sacked on the next play. So now we've pretty much just got to run 2 surrender plays and punt it right back to them. And the Colts end up kicking a field goal before half. So we got a turnover inside of a minute to go in the half, and we still let them score points. Do you understand what I'm saying? They got down to the 5. We caused a turnover. Woohoo! And then 5 plays later or something, they're scoring points to make it 17-13 at the half. Losing football right there. Some teams just find ways to lose. And then the Colts get the ball to start the second half. They go on a drive that took years off my life. 10-minute drive. Can't stop them on third down. Every time they want to throw it to Michael Pittman, there's nobody anywhere near him. I mean, they could have thrown those underneath routes all day because there wasn't nobody near these receivers for the Colts. We were acting like it was 3rd and 20 or something, how far we're playing off of these guys. Why? And that's foreshadowing. Michael Pittman being wide open for an easy play, that's foreshadowing for how the game ended. So, Colts go on this 10-minute drive, takes years off of my life. They get a field goal, 17-16. What did Tim Kelly come up with during that 10-minute drive the Colts were on? What did he come up with? Oh, he came up with a good old-fashioned 3-and-out, baby. A good old-fashioned 3-and-out. 2 basic runs up the middle, and then a 3rd and 7 throw that I believe was short of the sticks. Bravo. So we give them the ball right back. Somehow our defense forces a 3-and-out. We get the ball back. We do nothing with it. And then you want to know what happens? We get a punt blocked and returned for a touchdown. Did I mention the special teams coach got fired moments ago? Punt blocked, return for touchdown. Okay. Then they go for 2, and Amani Hooker picks it off and runs it back 100 yards the other way for 2 of our own. So now it's 22-19 Colts. But we're getting the ball. Hey, maybe that Amani Hooker play give us some momentum. Nope. We go 3-and-out again. And you want to know what happens next time we punt? It gets blocked again. I've been thinking about it all throughout yesterday and today. I have never seen a team get their punt blocked twice in a row. You got your punt blocked and returned for a touchdown, and within 5 minutes walked back on the field and let it happen again. This time it wasn't returned for a touchdown. This time you literally got your punter's leg broken. Good job, guys. Good. Did I mention the special teams coach got fired moments ago? 2 blocked punts in a row, and you're going to sit here and be surprised that this team is 4-8. 2 blocked punts in a row. It's inexcusable. It's unthinkable. Somehow our defense holds them to a field goal there, so now we're down by 6. At least the defense played hard. Held them to a field goal, now we're down by 6, and now we finally decide, hey, we better put a drive together here. We better do something. So, Derrick Henry's got a concussion. He's out. Jeffrey Simmons has got a knee injury. He's out. Ryan Stonehouse has what I think is a torn ACL. He's out. So now we finally go on a drive. We go down there. Levis throws the touchdown to Hopkins. Okay, great. Extra point and we have the lead. Except for the fact that our punter is also our freaking holder on the field goals, and he's got a torn ACL because our punt team allowed him to get his punt blocked twice in a row, and the second time they shattered his leg. So now we have no holder. So who has to come into the game to hold the field goal? Who else but the ghost from our past himself? The ghost of Christmas past, Ryan Tannehill, has to come in and hold the freaking extra point field goal. The announcers are like, he's never done this before. Ryan Tannehill has never done this before, so how's this going to go? I'll tell you how it went. We missed the extra point, so we can't even take the lead. So now we are tied, and now the Colts get the ball back and they go 3-and-out. hey, you know what? We got momentum. Let's go down here and win this game. We get the ball back. We do nothing with it, so we got to punt it back to them. They get the ball back. They do nothing with it, so they punt it back to us. Nick Folk is having a punt, by the way. So we get the ball back, and we're in prime position to go down there and win this game. We got into, this is just a perfect example. Some teams find ways to lose. We get into Indianapolis territory. We are in Indianapolis territory. We are a mere 10 yards from field goal range. And what happens? Penalties. Penalty yardage. Oh, well, let's go the other way. Because this team is undisciplined as they come. I think this team has the second most false starts in the NFL. Defensive holding, defensive pass interference, offensive holding, false start, illegal man downfield. If there's a penalty to be committed, this team will commit it. So we go the wrong way. Then we try our stupid screen passes that never work, unless it's to Derrick Henry, who was in the locker room with a concussion. So a drive that literally had us 10 yards from field goal range, we end up having to punt. We end up way back at like our own 30. Then we go to overtime. Guess who gets the ball first? We do. And we're going on a drive. Hey, let's go down there and get a touchdown and win this thing. But no, the drive stalls out. So now we got to kick our field goal. Okay. Let's get a defensive stop and win the game. But of course, this secondary just watches a guy run right by him downfield. Let's let Gardner Minshew throw for 400 yards. And then on the final play of the game, let's give up inside leverage. Let's put Trey Avery on Michael Pittman man-to-man coverage. Give up inside leverage for the easiest touchdown of Michael Pittman's career, and let's just lose. I have said it before, and I've said it again, and I will say it again. I don't question the heart of the Titans. I have no doubt they played hard yesterday. I'm not going to question that. I have no doubt they played hard. But some teams just find ways to lose. Some teams find ways to win. Some teams actively find ways to lose. And the Titans have been doing it all year. Whether it be the Saints game, Ryan Tannehill throws for like 4 interceptions. The Browns game where we couldn't block a feather. The first Colts game where we couldn't score in a red zone. The Ravens game where we couldn't score in a red zone, couldn't block a soul. The Steelers game where we couldn't block a soul, couldn't score in a red zone. I mean, it is always something. And let me tell you something. You want to act like this offensive line was better yesterday? Yeah, they were better, but it's still not good enough, guys. Jalen Duncan is a better left tackle than Andre Dillard. Jalen Duncan could probably be a good utility lineman to put in there whenever guys get hurt. He could be a 6th man to bring in. But that's still not good enough. The play from our tackles is not good enough. We hoped that Jalen Duncan or Dylan Radins would get in there and light the world on fire so that we wouldn't have to worry about it. Well, neither one of them has, so we need 2 new tackles again. I still say we need a new center. Okay. You want to know something else? For those of you who think wide receiver still isn't that big of a need, DeAndre Hopkins, however many catches he had yesterday, he's always the leading target. Other than him, Nick Westbrook-Akine and Chris Moore both had 1 reception each. I don't have to tell you that's not good enough. You already know that's not good enough. That's ridiculous. That's wide receivers 2 and 3 right there. I am going to consider it as though Treylon Burks didn't play yesterday. He played on like 7 plays, was not targeted once. So Westbrook-Akine and Chris Moore, that's wide receivers 2 and 3. They both had 1 catch each. Not good enough. And Kyle Phillips was a healthy scratch. Can someone explain to me why Kyle Phillips, who honestly probably the second most productive wide receiver on the roster, was a healthy scratch yesterday? Like, what? I don't know, man. I don't know. Running back is going to be a need again because Derrick Henry's probably going to walk. He's probably not going to be back next year. And so you're going to need... Now, Tyjae Spears, I'm very encouraged about him. I thought he was great yesterday, especially when Henry went out and it had to just be Spears all the way at the running back position. I thought he played really well. But assuming he's not going to be your every single down back next year, we're going to have a new running back. And let me tell you something else. Don't think I missed the fact that yesterday when the Titans offense got rolling early, guess who it was because of? Derrick Henry. Because it's been the same thing for 5 years. If our offense is going to do anything, it is going to have to be because of him. Tennessee Titans says we don't have an identity. Vrabel is pathetic. When we finish 4-13, we need an offensive-minded coach. You know, here's the thing. I don't think Vrabel's going anywhere. I still think management believes he's the guy. But what I need from him, I need him to stop hiring coaches who fit his mold. And maybe, let's just hire a coach who's going to come in here and, do things differently. How about, let's start offensively. How many times does the offense have to come out and struggle to even score 20 points before this dude says, hey, maybe I need to just bring somebody else in here? He did it with Arthur Smith. Maybe I need to bring somebody else in here who's going to do something different with this offense instead of just, creep along like it's 1982. It's exhausting, man. It's exhausting. And like it says in the thumbnail on YouTube, I'm ready for the season to be over. I'm just ready for the season to be over. There's nothing left to play for. People are like, are you excited about going to Miami and playing Monday night? Good Lord, no. The Dolphins are going to absolutely destroy the Tennessee Titans in prime time. Tyreek Hill's probably going to have 200 yards receiving, and I'm not exaggerating. And let me say this. Everybody assumes that the Titans are going to use their first-round draft pick on a tackle, on an offensive tackle. And they very well may, and I won't complain if they do. But we at least need to entertain the idea of using that pick on a corner. Do we know how bad the secondary is? Do you guys, has it sunk in how bad this secondary is? Christian Fulton, he's done. At the end of the year, he's walking. He ain't going to be on this team next year. Sean Murphy-Bunting, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can exactly just get excited about that. Roger McCreary, I like Roger McCreary as long as he's playing slot corner. Slot corner, I'm fine with McCreary. But we need 2 new outside corners. I'm sick of accepting mediocrity. We need 2 new outside corners. And I don't know if that's Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. I don't know who it is. But we need, the Titans currently, after this week, are scheduled to pick number 7 in the draft. They could get one of those tackles. They could get Kool-Aid. They could get Brock Bowers from Georgia. They could get Neighbors from LSU. But, man, the needs on this team, they are aplenty. And this is a bad roster right now, but they have some guys who are playing at a high level. Danico Autry's playing at a very high level. Jeff Simmons was before he got hurt. I've actually thought Harold Landry's gotten better. But inside linebacker, what are we going to do at inside linebacker? We could bring back Azeez Al-Shaair. Yeah, you're not going to let all of them walk, but Monty Rice is supposed to be back next year. Has anybody seen anything from him that gets you excited about him starting at inside linebacker next year? Because not me. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. We need corners, we need safeties, we need inside linebackers. Probably going to need some help on the defensive line if Teair Tart and Danico Autry both walk. We need wide receivers. We need a running back. We need 4 offensive linemen to join Skoronski. We need, I mean, I'm about to say we need another tight end because I ain't seen nothing from Chig that excites me. Can you believe we have 5 games left in the season and Chig Okonkwo has not registered 1 touchdown? What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, no, I'm not excited about anything to do with the rest of this season. And let's talk about Will Levis. I thought Will Levis has shown a lot of passion. He's shown a lot of toughness. The play yesterday where he went flying through the air to get that first down, I don't want to see much more of that. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt bad if he keeps doing that. But I do love to see the passion, love to see the heart, love to see the fight on a 3rd down, wanting to get the first down, went flying through the air. Again, I don't want to see a whole lot of that because he's going to get hurt. Does he miss some throws? Yes. Yesterday he said he felt like it was his worst game as a Titan. I still say the second half last week was worse against Carolina, but whatever. I mean, as always, there's some throws I'm sure he wishes he could have back. What I will say about him is this. To me, in my opinion, you have seen enough of him to this point to feel like you've got to give him a shot next year. I feel like the team's not in a position to go out there and get a quarterback. You've got too much other crap to get, okay? Wesley Barnes said, didn't see a second of the Titans. How bad was it? I mean, they lost by 3 in overtime. So it was a gut punch. One of those that you felt like you were going to win, and then you lost. Some teams find ways to lose, man. Some teams find ways to lose. But, I mean, I just, from my opinion on Will Levis, I think he's done enough to earn, an off season to get better and come back and have the team, Now, listen, my guy went after DeAndre Hopkins on the sideline yesterday. This dude went up to D-Hop and was like pointing his finger and yelling at him about a route. DeAndre Hopkins. This was like 2 possessions into the game. My guy is going over to DeAndre Hopkins. He's yelling at him and saying some things that I'm sure would not be appropriate in a Christmas card or something like that. I'm like, okay now, all right. No, that's DeAndre Hopkins, sir. Okay, let's, if you got some miscommunications you need to talk about, maybe let's approach this man with a little bit. I understand wanting to be a leader. I get all that, but like, if Tom Brady wants to come get in DeAndre Hopkins' face and tell him how the business is, that's fine. Bro, you've been starting for like a month. All right? Now, if you want to go over to Treylon Burks and get in his face and give him the business, you go right ahead. But this is like wide receiver royalty right here. Like, not just right now. I'm talking about his career. Like, this is DeAndre Hopkins. All right? So let's not go too far with the, getting in the face and yelling and all that stuff. Hopkins ended up having a good game after that, but anyway, yeah, I mean, Levis is fine. I'm fine with Levis. I'm much more encouraged about him than I am some of the other guys on this team. In fact, I was thinking before I hit go today, before I went live, who on this team am I excited about coming into next year? Preferably younger guys on the team. Because like Jeffrey Simmons, okay, obviously. Harold Landry, guys like that are going to be back next year. Okay, not including them. If Hopkins is back, this doesn't include him. But in terms of like young guys, I'm excited about what I've seen. Okay, Tyjae Spears. Liked what I saw from him after Henry went out yesterday. He's got a lot of explosiveness. Excited about Spears. Skoronski, overall, like what I see from him. He's the only offensive lineman that I could say that about. I don't like what I've seen from hardly anybody else. But now, Jalen Duncan, who they've had in there at left tackle, he can serve a purpose on the team. I do not think he is a starter, But he's not a bad guy to have for if somebody gets hurt and he's got to go. He's a good guy to have in that regard. But I'm kind of done with Aaron Brewer at center. I'm done with both tackles. Brunskill at guard, I mean, that may be a good idea. He's probably the second best offensive lineman. If you're going to bring somebody back, maybe you bring Brunskill back, but I'm not sure Brunskill's not going to retire. I mean, he's been in the league a while. So I'm encouraged about Spears. I like what I've seen from him. I'm encouraged about Skoronski. I'm just thinking offensively here. Levis, I think that there's enough there that there's enough. I'm like, let's face it, Titans fans. When next season rolls around, you're going to be excited about Will Levis. You're going to see one training camp video of him hitting some receiver at on and out in practice, and you're going to be like, this guy's Peyton Manning. Here's a good question, Titans fans, that Wesley Barnes has. Let's hear it, Titans fans. Why don't they try Peter Skoronski at left tackle? That is the debate that rages on and has raged on all year. I don't know. He played tackle in college. They drafted him and moved him to guard. I don't know. My only guess would be they signed Andre Dillard as a free agent and probably thought he was going to be better than he was. And Andre Dillard was a left tackle. They probably signed him, thought he was going to be better than he was, and he's been horrible. Like Jalen Duncan, of what was a 5th round rookie, 6th round rookie, whatever. He has his issues. He doesn't hit all his blocks. Infinitely better than Andre Dillard. Like, that's a low bar. Infinitely better than Andre Dillard. Okay. So who have I said here? Levis, Spears, Skoronski. I mean, I'm fine with those three. I'm excited about them. Wide receiver. I mean, I was excited. I was kind of encouraged about Kyle Phillips. And then yesterday he was a healthy scratch. He was inactive yesterday. He's not hurt. I don't know. He's a healthy scratch. So evidently they're not nearly as encouraged about him as I am. Tight end, I can't say I'm encouraged about Chigo Okonkwo. He's been a massive disappointment. Josh Wiley, rookie tight end, he does some good things. He does some good things every now and then. But the problem is, I feel like he's hurt all the time. Maybe that's just me. I feel like he's hurt all the time, and I feel like he's good for like one big play a game. One nice play a game, and then he just disappears. So I would love for him to progress, come back next year, but right now, I can't exactly say, man, I am excited about Josh Wiley. If he could do more of what he did on that one play yesterday where he broke 1 million tackles and got a big gain, then I'd be very excited about Josh Wiley. But I feel like he does that once every couple games, and then he either goes to the sideline or the blue tent or whatever. Charlie says Duncan cried after the game. It shows you the kid wants to. I did see that. Jalen Duncan. There's probably a place for Jalen Duncan on this team. I don't think it's as a starter, but he deserves to. He has done enough well. He deserves the opportunity to come back and prove himself in the future. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. He's probably shown more potential at this point in his career than Dylan Radins had at this point in his career. So offensively, there you go. I have 3 guys that I can outright say I'm excited about them. Defensively, maybe even less than that, because I'm not including Jeff Simmons or Harold Landry or anything. I'm talking about young guys. Roger McCreary, I mostly like what he does at slot corner. He had to play outside corner for a couple weeks, and it was not his thing at all. But as a slot corner, I'm fine with him. Monty Rice hasn't really done much. Rashad Weaver was back in the lineup yesterday. Nothing to jump for joy about. And he didn't do anything to jump for joy about. Elijah Molden taking Kevin Byard's place. He is not Kevin Byard. I'm not excited about any of the corners. All of the corners are bad. The secondary for the Titans is the offensive line of the defense. Does that make sense? Like, in other words, you know how we look at the offensive line for Tennessee and we're like, holy crap, that's awful. The secondary is that way on defense. I look at the secondary and I'm like, oh my God. Like, they're atrocious. I mean, I don't know why the Colts didn't throw deep all day. Miami will. But here's the thing. Yesterday, because I don't think Derrick Henry's going to play against Miami. He's got a concussion. Somebody on Twitter was like, man, this game against Miami could get ugly, you know. No Derrick Henry, probably no Jeffrey Simmons. And I just reposted it on Twitter, and I was like, okay, fine. Who cares at this point? Let it be ugly. What does it matter? What at this point, if they somehow beat the Dolphins, I'd be mad. I'd be mad. Be like, okay, so you beat the Dolphins. Where's that been? You know what I'm saying? But also, at this point, 5 games to go, just lose the rest of them and let's get a good draft pick. Like, if I'm one of those people, listen, I hate talking about tanking and what all that stuff. I hate doing that stuff too. But there's a difference. There's a difference in coming out after week 3 and being like, well, we need to tank. Yeah, that's ridiculous, but like, we got 5 games to go. Like, the playoffs are long since past. The hopes of a playoff spot are long since past. There's no hope for anything to come of this season. So am I really supposed to believe it makes me a bad fan? To be like, man, we're better off just losing and getting a better draft pick. Like, does that really make me a bad fan? Man, I'd rather finish 6-11. I hope the Titans beat Miami so we can get to 5-8. You know, like, what's the point in winning now? I get, for the players work too hard. They put too much time in. They're going to go out there and try to win. I know. We see that time and time again. You know, teams that go out and win games that really you're like, we probably shouldn't win this game, like, because it's better for the draft. But I get it. The players and the coaches, they don't view it that way. I know they don't. They put too much time, too much effort. They're going to go out there and try to win. But as fans, what is to be gained by the Titans winning any of their remaining games? Because first of all, let me say, I don't think they're going to win any of these. Well, you look at the schedule. The Dolphins in Miami on Monday night, this has potential. And Charlie just mentioned it. This has potential to be one of those 2014, 2015 Titans games where, like, 52-0, like, 48-7, like one of those doozies. This has all the makings of one of those. Because Tyreek Hill, it's not going to surprise me if he has 200 yards receiving against us. So the Titans ain't beating the Dolphins. They're not beating Houston once, let alone twice. They're not beating Seattle. And the only way they're beating Jacksonville in the last game of the season is if Jacksonville is in a place where they can rest their starters or something for the playoffs. And even then, I don't even know if we beat their backups. I think you are looking at a 4-13 team. Because the rest of, maybe if they had a game like the Commanders or the Patriots on the schedule, maybe, but they don't. These are all playoff caliber teams that they have to finish the year. And Mr. Pocket says, Mr. something or another, I can't really, Mr. Pocket Hercules, I think is supposed to be his name. He said that we could beat the Texans. I think C.J. Stroud will throw for 500 yards against Titans. I think C.J. Stroud will torch. Now, I did see the Texans, one of their key wide receivers got hurt yesterday, but man, I don't see the Titans beating any of these teams on their schedule. I really don't. And I hate it, man, because it was just 2 years ago. It was just 2 years ago that at this point in the year we were looking to the playoffs. We were looking to number one seed. We were looking to, oh man, we got AJ Brown and Derrick Henry coming back and all this stuff. And now for 2 short years later, and I'm not going to delve into why we got here this quick because we've talked about it so many freaking times on this podcast that I don't even want to revisit it. And I'm sure we will talk about it again as the end of the season draws nigh. I am counting down the days to the end of this season like it's Christmas. I am literally, people will be like, oh, only 22 days till Christmas. That's how I feel about the end of the season. I'm like, oh, only 5 games left and then it's over. Yay. Like, I'm just, the only people in the world more upset than me today are Florida State Seminole fans. I mean, there's only one group of people madder than I am, and it's fans of the Florida State Seminoles. Let's talk about the rest of the games yesterday. The Chargers beat the Patriots 6-0. The Chargers beat the Patriots 6-0. Hooray. Cardinals beat the Steelers 24-10. Steelers, fraudulent, maybe. Kenny Pickett, hurt. Steelers, going to fall apart and miss the playoffs. It's probably best for the playoffs that they do because they are going to be an easy first-round exit if they get in. Colts beat the Titans 31-28 in overtime. Somebody please hit me with a baseball bat in the head as hard as you can. Texans beat the Broncos 22-17. Broncos win streak finally comes to an end. Good win for the Texans. I think the Texans will be a wild card team in the playoffs. Lions beat the Saints 33-28. Saints made this thing interesting because this thing got to like 24-0 within like 5 minutes. But the Lions get a much-needed win, especially with Green Bay starting to look good. Detroit, they need to keep winning. They need to keep Detroit's going to win that. They're like 3 games ahead of Green Bay, but still. Falcons over the Jets, another thriller, 13-8. From what I saw of this game, this was a sloppy old game. Sloppy weather. I don't even know who's playing quarterback for the Jets now, but the Falcons get a win, get to 500, and with the Saints losing, Falcons pick up another game on them. Dolphins, the Titans' opponent coming up Monday night, absolutely destroy the Commanders 45-15. How many yards Tyreek Hill have in this game? Just to give you a preview of what's coming. Tyreek Hill, 5 receptions, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. Monday night, a week from tonight, the storms are coming. This guy is going to look at Sean Murphy Bunting and Christian Fulton and just take off in a freaking wind sprint and hold out his arms. Bucks beat the Panthers 21-18. See, I was rooting for Carolina to win this because of draft position, but honestly, Tampa Bay was ahead of Tennessee in the draft order too. So Tampa Bay winning's good for us too. We moved back up to number 7. That's the kind of victories we have to celebrate here in Nashville, Tennessee, Titans world. We have to celebrate, yay, we move up in the draft. 49ers beat the Eagles 42-19. That was kind of funny. I enjoyed that. Rams beat the Browns 36-19. Browns, fraudulent. Browns going to have a meltdown, miss the playoffs, potentially, yeah. Possibly. And then last night, Packers beat the Chiefs 27-19. You better look out for these Green Bay Packers. You better look out for them, man. And I'm telling you, what a year for the Titans to be down because the AFC is really wide open. I mean, the Chiefs just ain't chiefing like they used to, okay? Bills might not even make it. Bengals, no Burrow. They're probably not going to make it. The Jags, please, God. Listen, right here on this podcast, I will pray to the good Lord. If it be your will, Lord, please, anybody but Jacksonville. But here's the problem, guys. There's a chance the 3 other AFC South teams could make the playoffs. You could literally be looking at Jacksonville, Houston, and Indianapolis all making the playoffs. Hate them all. And that increases the chances that a team I hate is going to win the whole thing. And I don't want that to happen, quite frankly. Thank you guys for joining me on another exciting edition of the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on, guys. We're just driving this tank right on through the rest of this season. 4-8 Titans. This has been episode 59 of the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod, where we stay way too high on the wins, way too low on the losses. Everybody have a good week. Please, make sure something good happens in your lives this week. God bless you. Tighten up. Bye.
That ain't no way to be. So many people try to get you to fit their mold. I think it's time for a change. This is what I say. Feel free to be